Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Yep, there we go.
We're starting without technical difficulties?
Without technical
on this show.
difficulties. Yeah. We,
Live from Pahrump. Did it say that? Did you put the intro in, or did I have to do this now?
I put the intro in.
Okay, so it's live from Pahrump. This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday from Valley of the Dirt People. I'm sitting here with
Cooper Luke.
Rupert. Okay, so this is Logan's replacement. I didn't really see this coming, but you just showed up.
Yeah, I did.
And this is the way it works in the show. You can just roll in and be a co-host, because anything is better than Logan, right?
He doesn't talk too much.
No, he doesn't. Actually, I hear he talks to you.
Yeah, he gets annoying.
You know, that bad. So he says like 5 words?
More like 100.
100. Okay. So welcome, Cooper. Do you know what we do on this show?
Talk about dirt bikes.
Myself and dirt bikes, yes.
Yep.
This is right. So we talk about motorcycles and motorcycle-related products. This show is brought to you by Yamaha, Taco Moto, Scott Sports, Climb, DDC, Trail Tech, Fasst Company, and JimmyLewisOffroad.com, along with Fasst Company Flex handlebars. Do you use those?
No, I was going to buy some off of Logan. Seemed pretty good.
Really? Did he steal them out of my garage and try to hawk them to you?
I don't know. You're going to have to talk to him about that.
Really? Because I think there might be, you never know. They're really good. When you get to be my age, you would hope that when you were your age, you were racing with them, because my wrists now are at a point where I need to ride with them all the time. And I just did about 1,200 miles in Baja, which is really strange for me to say. Not the 1,200 miles part, but the Baja part, because I usually don't ride in Mexico. In fact, it's been like, I think 17 or 18 years since I went down there, but I had a really good opportunity to go do some stuff down there, which we will talk about later in the show. And I got a good special guest that's going to call in, and or we got to call him or something, and we'll figure it out. We didn't really have a lot of planning because Matt was out goofing off all day.
Yep. I was out testing bikes.
Testing motorcycles, which is really strange because most people don't test motorcycles anymore. They just put pictures of Instagram on Instagram, I guess.
And I was actually genuinely surprised by the results of our test.
Oh.
Well, I wasn't surprised by some things, but some things did surprise me.
Are we going to give the results away on the show tonight?
I'll leave that up to one of our other guests who's we're planning on calling.
Right, Trevor, who doesn't talk too much either.
Right.
So we got an action-packed show of minimal amounts of talking unless you step up to the plate.
I don't know about that. It's my first rodeo.
First rodeo. First time on a podcast.
Yep.
Or a video show thing, whatever we like to call it. Video podcast. Does that make it an iPodcast? Or how about a YouTube cast? We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're some other places too, I think. Did you get my Grindr account hooked up to this?
No. We're still waiting on the API to update for that.
Right. So the way this works, if you're listening to this like at a later date, you were watching one of the re-records or the recordings of this show. We're live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're allowed to. We need to get the phone lines. We need to get call-ins back. Mm-hmm. We need to get that phone line thing going again. We had that for a while, but we ran out of budget for it. But I think I can cut Matt's salary, and we can get phone lines back in here, which would be pretty cool. Then, so you can't call in now, but maybe in the future. But you can always join the chat, and the chat streams from all the different platforms. And we get the questions put up on the screen in front of us. A lot of times we go straight to the chat questions. So one of your jobs as a co-host, along with reading the questions that I don't, and we have a couple, I give you questions and you read them and then I try to answer them. And 9 out of 10 times I'm right. Is that impressive?
That sounds pretty good.
Pretty good? It's like an A. Like almost an A, or an A. It depends these days. They change the grades. Like I think in Pahrump, if you get 70% right, it's an A. So I'm way better than an A if I'm going on perump schooling standards or Nevada schooling and standards in general. Because I hear you guys, because you're both in school and you're totally responsible for this. You have made this state 50th. 50th at the bottom of the barrel.
That's pretty bad.
For how you guys do on whatever kind of testing they do, which I hear they don't even do tests, right, Logan?
There's one state test,
Right.
and it's a pretty big one.
Pretty big state test that you guys fail, and then we look bad. And you'd think that would get more money from the federal government for schooling and to help you kids, but guess not. So, hey, so to support this show, to help us out, we have links on our website, which is www.dirtbiketest.com. That's where you can go when you have a question and you can't get a hold of one of us. Go there and just type what your question is or what it relates to in the search box, and generally an answer comes up because we've probably talked about it or tested it. Although it's different these days, because I was talking with somebody in the industry about this today, about why there aren't any good places to go for, like, when you wanted it. When I was a kid, you could go to the magazines, and whether you could trust them or not, that's a kind of a topic for another time. I mean, but at the time and I worked at a magazine for like 20 years, so maybe a little biased, but there was a time when you could actually trust what they were telling you, or at least you could get some information there, or that was the place everybody went for the information. But now, where do you go? So when you want to learn about a bike, where do you go currently?
Usually just go to Google or
Google.
YouTube.
Google. So you type into Google or you type into YouTube, like, let's just say 2022 Yamaha YZ125.
Yep.
And I will tell you about a Yamaha YZ125. See this? I'm going to do this first read, and then you're going to get to do the one about the 4-strokes.
All right.
So you would experience pure performance and exhilarating power with the full line of Yamaha YZ 2-stroke bikes. If you visit YamahaMotorsports.com today, you can explore what's new for 2022. The revised YZ125 makes for a perfect step-up machine featuring all-new engine, revised 6-speed transmission, new brakes and suspension settings, improved rider ergonomics with new aggressive styling. And you know what pisses me off more than anything about all this? Is I have one sitting in the garage, and I haven't been riding it, and it hasn't rained, which those two things kind of go hand in hand, because I really like to rip the 125 when it's rained out on my sand track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard you're pretty good at that.
Ripping the 125 or letting it sit in the garage.
Ripping the 125.
Okay. Good. You're kissing ass. That works somewhat around here, although I'll start beating you up on it for it. The YZ250 also delivers improved rider ergonomics, a new front and rear brake, suspension settings, and aggressive styling. And if you want a truly race-inspired look, check out the YZ250 and YZ125 Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. And for the next generation of riders, the YZ65, YZ85, and YZ85 LW deliver big bike specs in a smaller package. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com to find your Yamaha YZ and enter the victory zone today. See how I just threw that into general conversation? It almost sounded like I wasn't doing an ad read. So those are your lines. You get to do that later in the show.
Okay.
Make Logan look bad. That's what we like to do around here. And why do I hear echoing in the background? Oh, Matt, his computer's making noises.
Oh.
Good grief.
It went from just my headphones to my headphones on my speakers.
Mm-hmm. Lucky someone's paying attention around here.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, also, if you know somebody that doesn't ride and you want to get them into riding, we have a school for them. It's an online learn how to ride if you've never touched a motorcycle school before. And if you want to check that out, go to jimmylewisoffroad.com, online courses. Use the code TechTalk22 to get a small discount on that. And if you are in any way involved with that person, like whether it's your young son or it's your girlfriend or your wife that you want to ride, I suggest using this as opposed to destroying your relationship over teaching them how to ride. Let me do that for you in an online.
Let them get mad at us instead.
Yeah, they won't get mad at us because we'll teach them how to ride, and we don't care if they struggle with it a little bit, because it isn't easy. Even though everybody here doesn't remember how hard it was to learn how to ride. I learned how to ride right into the side of my friend's mom's car.
I learned how to ride into the side of my shop. The mark is still there.
Yeah.
It was an old TTR 125.
How'd you learn how to ride?
I just got saddled on a bike and said go on a TTR 110.
What did you hit?
Anything in sight, bushes, until I just went down. I was out in the lake bed out in Jean.
Oh, so now that's actually pretty smart to put somebody on a dry lake bed. Not a lot to hit. You could get hit out there.
Yeah,
All the quads doing donuts and guys testing out their Ford Raptors,
Mobbing.
all that stuff. Okay, so what are we going to start with? Questions?
Your two-stroke tip video got quite a lot of attention.
About the reed valves?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there's a few questions about those.
I need to correct that. I need to actually, because that was an April Fool's joke. I actually posted it on my Facebook today, just to get people to come and watch this show, because I figure if they want stupid, we'll give them extra. But so I did a really hot tech tip where, because the thing is, everybody knows that a reed block is an emissions device on a 4-stroke. They think it is, so they take it out. So I'm just going with the logic here,
Right.
that I get all over the tubes of U's and Google, wherever you get your information from. So if it's good to take the reed valve out, and you should try this sometime, I pulled the reed valve out of my KTM 300 because it's an emissions device. I mean, you look at it, the video shows how clearly restrictive that reed valve is, and yeah. So, anyways, I did a video on it because it's a tech tip.
Yeah, very informative.
Yeah. Okay. So the question. So what you do is we start right here. Hey, you know what else is a good sponsor of the show? Costa Rica Unlimited.
Yeah, I heard they do great tours.
They do great tours. I'll bet you you could do a Matt signature tour for Costa Rica Unlimited, where you just I know Terry would be all game on this. You do a little promoting. You get a bunch of guys to go, and you're like the guy, and you can teach them how to push the buttons over there and get the sound quality all jacked up when they're so that when they're out there shooting. How many did you do any videos today with the GoPro or anything like that?
The GoPro was on me in the beginning of the day.
Did you do any photography and stuff? Did you put some bangers on the gram for us?
I didn't, but Trevor and Tyler,
they were handling this.
They were handling that part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we got some sick videos.
Okay, so you could go down and do that for Costa Rica, and that way everybody get home. They'd probably plug their video, and they'd be all stoked, and they'd plug it in, and it'd probably play upside down. Just going from experience, right? You'd be watching, you have to turn your head upside down. But Costa Rica Unlimited does tours down in, guess where? Costa Rica, on brand new KTM, Husky, and gas motorcycles. You can, and then the beach that they're right above where their tours start out is epic for body surfing. I know this because I've done that before, and surfing in general. And yeah, I have a friend that just went to Nicaragua to go down there to ride motorcycles. So he rides those street bike 125 things.
The Groms.
No, the ones that all the locals drive around on. And
okay.
They ride around in flip flops and go find places to eat pigs and drink beers and
oh, it sounds like the life.
Yeah, but it's hot. It's warm down there. So
yeah.
if you're sick of the cold right now, go to Costa Rica Unlimited. Go for a dirt bike ride and enjoy yourself. So I think if you tell them you learned about it on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, they will give you the palatial suite. You can get the palatial suite at the place where you stay, I heard. So you just have to ask them about that when you call. But mention Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and they probably won't charge you double. Okay, what's our first question?
All right, so here we got a couple sent in from Jared Sherwood. Sorry if I butchered that, but...
Oh, no, we do that here.
All right. His question is, what is your opinion on getting the TPI reflash done for Enduro? I generally ride tight single track, hard Enduro races.
my general opinion. So what year did he say his bike was? Didn't say. So if you have an older one that hasn't been reflashed, if it was a new, if it was new in 2019 or whatever, and it was one of the first batches of either 2019, 2020s, I know there was updated ECU flashes for this. I would do that no matter what because they just got everything about them got better. I don't really know about the 21s and the 22s. Of course, we haven't been able to test these bikes yet because they're selling every one of them. So why bother having them tested? And I haven't really heard much about it. I mean, all I really hear on the internet is you just have to replace everything. You have to get a different ECU and a different fuel flow valve, and you have to put you have to attach the oil injection hose through the spark plug or something like that for better spark plug fouling. That's all the things. So no, I don't know. For extreme enduro, any of the ones I've ridden, I'm wondering why you'd want to change it because that's kind of where they really really excel. Just the way that those bikes are so smooth. It's kind of like the stuff everybody complains about is the reason that makes them so good for that kind of hard enduro stuff. So I would not think a reflash is needed. But everybody's just like suspension clickers. You know, the reason they put the clickers on there is so you can tune it to yourself. The reflash may tune it to yourself better. Unfortunately, it's not something that everybody can do. I put a fuel tuner on mine, and I'm able to get. Actually, it's not on mine. It's on George's, and George's bike. And everybody rides George's bike, and they say, "What did you do to this thing?" I mean, because it's good, evidently. And then, then they ride mine. They go, "Man, that thing works really good." And what'd you do to it? One or two little small things, but not much. No reflash. Mine doesn't even have a fuel tuner on it right now. Just stock. So, that answers his question, you think?
I think it did. I'm not sure what the reflash even is. So
you basically take it to a dealer and they have an updated ECU mapping. So
okay.
so it's they're able
Updated
to put
computer.
it's just like so on these bikes they have a ECU, a computer, and just like they flash them and when they flash it, they just reprogram it. So it maybe changes the fueling ratios at different RPMs, or it can change the ignition curve slightly. And then those have they have two maps. Does mine have a map switch? I'm pretty sure they have the capability to have two maps. I don't even know if mine has a map switch or not.
My 125 had a unplug thing.
Yeah, and you could put a switch. Yeah, it's a map switch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's how much I don't push it on my bike if it's on there because I like the way it runs. So no, I don't think the KTM's have the map switch. I think the Huskies do. Big John's bike has Rockstar stuff on it. I think his has a map switch.
Yeah, I liked his bike a lot.
Yeah. So, okay. What else are we? What's our next question?
So we got one from Douglas Panny Baker. The reed valve was designed to prevent backfire through the carb. The reeds have extremely flexible, especially if Boysen reeds are used.
Mm-hmm.
There are some other great reed manufacturers, as well as V4s by Transroar. Boysen is one of the oldest manufacturers. It also depends on the riding one is done.
So Douglas, what's his name?
Panny Baker.
Panny Baker?
Panne Baker.
Yeah, Panny Baker. Douglas Panny Baker is comment on my video where I removed the reed valves out of the two-stroke. And I guess he didn't go to the part at the end where I kind of said it was a joke.
Yeah, I think he took that a little too serious.
Took it serious.
I think the upload date should have been a pretty clear indicator.
Yeah, well, I didn't think that. Well, then again, I look at the people watching YouTube, and sometimes they're not very clear either. Mm-hmm. So, so Boysen makes good reeds. Moto Tassinari, which I think what he was trying to spell there, with the V-Force, they make really good reeds. The stock reeds are really good. Reeds in a two-stroke are 100% necessary. Yes, it doesn't prevent backfires. It allows the bike to run if it doesn't have a piston port. So it's basically if you take the reed out, you now have a open crankcase that cannot even develop any pressure. So the bike will not run because every time the piston goes down, instead of forcing that fuel charge, it'll force some of it up. And they actually run, it's my understanding, that they run really good at 1 RPM when you take the reed valve out. So that's the... has anybody complained about it dropping on the YouTubes yet or anything?
I don't think so. I think it's only. I think it's a drop when I switch the cameras.
Okay.
Is when I'm noticing the drop.
So, anyways, I'm surprised they haven't started making modified reed blocks for better performance in the 4-strokes. Now to come to think about it, like why hasn't someone figured out a way to make modified ones of those as opposed to just yank them out? Because I just rode. Amazing. Imagine this. I'm going to tell you about something I did. I just rode from Ensenada to San Jose del Cabo on a KTM 500 with a stock ECU and the reed still in the intake track. How stupid was that?
Yeah, no, you had no performance at all, did you?
I had no problems at all. My bike worked really good. I don't think I complained about. I didn't complain about the power, like not once. It did good. But that's a personal choice. I like the way it runs. I did have a different muffler on. I had an FMF Q on it. Essentially, it says power cord on the side, but it's a Q internals.
Right.
But I do that just because it runs a little bit cooler and gives it just a little nicer throttle response. In all honesty, but that was that's what I rode down there. So it's on a truck. I hope it makes it back.
That'd be awkward.
Supposed to be back a couple days ago, but I was told I locked it up.
Right.
So, okay. Let's see. Eric Kudla's Gas has 2 maps. Hey, Eric, good to see you. I also saw some of our other regulars. Victor's up there. I think he wanted to know if I have diarrhea right now. Is that him? Do I have Montezuma's Revenge? Yeah, I'm sure it was up there. Couple other things. Did Cooper get a new helmet and goggles? Why?
Yeah.
Remember when that dog peed on him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of our little helper dogs helped you out pretty good. I gave him goggles that day. So, no, Rusty Shats. That's what I thought. No, I'm not having any Rusty Shats. So Rusty Shats asks, XC Gear makes the Mako 360 and Spurs foot pegs. Do you have any experience with these? Yes, I do. Quite a bit, actually, in the beginning. And I'm pretty sure that they have updated and improved them since I did some early testing, mostly on elastomer compounds and just they were kind of early prototype stuff. But yeah, I have some experience with this stuff. There's some things I really liked about both those things and other things that I didn't. But that's pretty normal. I don't know if I ever actually wrote up any tests on those things because it was a kind of a different gig. But yeah, I know a lot of people that definitely like that stuff. I prefer the Flex bars, and I'm not just saying that because they are a sponsor of the show. It's just my personal preference. I like to feel a little more connected to the bike. I like to get the feel back from the handlebars, and so it's and the Mako gives you a slightly different feel, and then the same thing with the foot pegs. I was testing the foot pegs when they're real early evolution, and they had some really soft elastomers that made the foot pegs wobble and move too much for my personal taste. So, yes, have experience with them. Any other questions?
We got one on Facebook. It says Roger Edgington said he was going down on bike size and going back to carburetor. Should he go to a 150 or a 200?
He didn't give me his weight. That would be the Roger. If you can kind of pin up there with your weight, but the more weight you have, once you start going a little bit south of 180 pounds, I'm going to go way more towards the 200. Just because of the torque of the motor, where the 125, 150, you just got to rev it quite a bit. It doesn't roll on. So, but if you're a really aggressive rider, even at that weight, I mean, I'm close to 200 pounds now, and I love riding a 125, but I don't lug it. It'll lug fine, but they're just the 125 or 150 is so much exponentially slower when you lug it than a 200 is. If you're not revving it, once you start revving them, they both kind of work the same. But if you ever go into lug and you're heavy, the 200 is going to be a much better bike at that point. So, okay, next, go ahead.
225 pounds. You just put it in.
Oh, 200. Roger, don't mess with the 125 or 150. So, got another question there.
Yep, from Facebook, we got Dave Black, and he's asking, when choosing springs, if the size for your total weight is right between two sizes, are you better erring on the heavier or lighter spring?
That's kind of a personal preference. It depends on whether you like a stiff ride or a soft ride, which seems like kind of simple. But it depends on whether you're going to get heavier or lighter too. If your weight's going to fluctuate one way or the other, pick the spring where your weight is going to go, not where you hope it's going to go, where it is going to go. So that'd be the first guide there. But I wouldn't get so picky because you're going to basically make that spring work with, effectively your kind of the spring is kind of the ride height, the setting, when you set your sag, the softer spring will be compressed a little bit more to get the same sag as if, it'd be loosened a little bit when with the stiffer spring. And the bikes yield kind of a different character that way, but that's where the clickers come into play. If you went with the stiffer spring, you'd probably be in a little bit more on your compression or rebound clicker, or no, in a little bit more on your rebound clicker, out a little bit more on the compression clicker, and vice versa. So the other thing you might want to look at is whatever springs you have on now, where your clicker's at, and if the compression's in pretty far, as opposed to being out from standard, then I would say, okay, maybe go stiffer. So there's a couple different ways you can determine, where you're at. And I know, Dave, that it depends on which bike he's putting on it, whether it's 2-stroke or his 4-stroke. I know his 4-stroke has a big gas tank on it, so it's heavier. So I would tend to go a little bit heavier, like that. So
Logan commented on today about his air forks. I was asking him if he liked them. He was saying he was liking them because how much he changed his weight. He's been gaining weight, so he can kind of just mess with them.
Yep. You're gaining weight.
Not recently.
Not recently. Yeah, I didn't think so, because now he's like an anemic, sick person.
He's
So
dying
sick
on
he
us.
can't even be on the show right now. It would tire you out. This brain exercise would wear your brain out.
I would put me
In
pretty
pain.
tired.
Oh wow, get tired doing the show. Okay. So what's our next one from the?
From our free two-stroke power tip.
Yep.
We just got not really questions, just a lot of funny comments. Brent V says, I'm going to take the reed valve out of my Silverado 1500. Going to get that power my truck has always deserved. Thanks, Jimbo.
I didn't know his truck. That's good. If you can get the reed valve out of your truck, that's good too. Next.
Rally Navigator from Rally Roadbook System says, thanks for pro tip, Jimbo. It works huge. Lifted dually truck too. I smashed the plastic part by the air tubes to open up the hole for more gas. It has so much power. Sick, bro.
This is where we go.
Yeah.
Right down this avenue. We have another one.
Brop Hawaii says, I took the reed cage out and put a hair dryer in my airbox. Now my bike is like a supercharged.
Oh, well, that was a big mistake. I'll tell you this right now, because the hair dryer is putting hot air in there, right?
You could put it on cool.
Oh, you can put it on cool?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have any hair, so I don't use one of these things. So, but if you're pumping hot air into that motor, that's bad. You want to do the cool. But I like the idea. So if you put it on cool, and then it's pumping cool air in there, I think you're better off. So these are the kind of modifications. Your sister's not going to be too stoked that you ripped her hair dryer. I want to know how you're powering that thing, because like the converting that DC power over to the AC, the 110 AC on the 2-strokes is kind of difficult. But maybe I'll do that in my next pro tip video. I got. What does John Jackson like to know?
John Jackson says, have you ever seen the Yamaha EPS that utilizes that's a huge word,
Magnostrictive.
torque sensor that acts as a dampener on open terrain and assists steering on tight terrain?
I have not seen it, but I have read about it. There's not a whole lot of, there's some patent drawings and a couple other things like this. I think it's pretty interesting technology. It's funny because Yamaha sometimes is very conservative about what they do. I mean, when they have something that works, they don't really change it. But every once in a while, they go and do something crazy. They were the first ones with, well, not really the first ones, but one of the first modern, single shocks. They were doing monoshock before anybody else. They were doing like brake activated suspension system that made your rear brake softer when you pushed on, or when you pushed on the rear brake, it made your rear suspension softer. Pretty kind of, they were doing boost bottles, which was a thing on two strokes. Boost bottle like went right in front of your reed valve. It was a little hose that went up to a bottle and that made more power, evidently. So lots of things. So it doesn't surprise me to see them, playing around with this steering damper. Honda had a little stint with steering dampers. They had theirs, which was it wasn't like the kind of classic steering damper that desert racers know, which dampens it. But Yamaha's got this one now that's going to do. It's programmable essentially, so it would be able to do a lot of different things. And I think where they're going with this, or where this is leading, scarily enough, is self-riding motorcycles. So it's in the beginning phases, it'll actually counteract or aid the rider, but I think at some point it will correct what the rider did wrong. if you think about it, that's how you learn. It's the future. You test these kind of things. So I think it's interesting technology, and I'm pretty sure that's how you take it to the kind of the next level. I mean, their steering dampers are very analog these days. You can get them to work one way or the other based on valving and stuff, but they can't change. They can't shape shift based on speed or anything like this. So maybe this one will do that. So Rusty asks how much difference, and he's talking about his Mako 360 steering. They do make a difference, Rusty. I think that, like, one thing I like to say about the flex handlebars is they make bad forks good. Like, you could have an initially or a harsh fork, which back in the day when the flex handlebars first came out, that was one of the big problems. A lot of the motocross bikes, they were getting stiffer and stiffer, and some of the suspensions became harsh. We're going to aluminum frames. The chassis became harsh. And so when you put you dampen the bars, it helps with the vibration, and same with the foot pegs. Although my one thing with the foot pegs is you have to realize that you have a rubber sole on your boot. So your boot is already doing a large amount of that work for you, but the pegs and stuff can add another level of dampening as well. So
We have a question up here from Facebook. Bill O'Neill says, anyone have experience with prescription goggle inserts? Are they any good?
I don't, because my eyes are still effective. But I know a lot of people who've ridden with them, and I think it's kind of depending on the person, and it's real hit or miss. And I've had two people talk about two different kinds, and they were arguing with each other, saying this one was better and that one didn't work for me, and vice versa. I know some people that prefer to ride with only over the glasses goggles, so they wear their glasses. My wife does this quite a bit. She would rather wear her glasses. She doesn't like. She's tried a couple different things before, but it's the glasses that work. So I think it's just test different things. And I know a couple guys I've seen lately have these things where they're basically, they had their glasses put on this frame that just drops in and it clips inside the goggle. It's a universal thing. It's not built into the lens. But you have to understand that you like your glasses at a certain distance from your eyeball, and if that changes, it changes the way you see stuff. So, kind of having a really good fitting goggle, a goggle that isn't interfering with the helmet so that it's moving could make a lot of distance. So I think it's a matter. I don't have the personal experience with it, but I think it's a matter of kind of testing that stuff out and knowing how sensitive you are to that. I should get somebody.
I wonder how bifocals look in those lenses.
I've seen people ride with them before.
Yeah, whatever gets you out there.
Do what you do.
Next question.
We got from David Potts. Front tire question / opinion. I was at the Mint for 100 and saw some of the top guys using the Kenda Washugala front tire.
Oh,
Any
no.
feedback
Wow.
on this tire?
Washugala.
Oh,
The
we
Washugala.
got a new one.
Yeah.
Here.
Good one.
Oh man, that's my favorite national.
Yeah.
Washugala.
Washugala.
Classic racing there.
Why Washougal? I don't see the extra A at the end, but I'm going to give it to you. I probably would do that too. What kind of grades you get in school? Just out of curiosity. You pretty good, like Logan? Because Logan surprises me because he's constantly claiming good grades and all that stuff. His dad's claiming he's got good grades, but I think what Logan's good at is altering his report card. He's altering his report card so his dad thinks he's getting good grades, and he's just kind of cruising through school, like kind of dum-dumming it. You know what I mean, Matt?
I have no experience with being a dum-dum in school.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
You can barely turn on the two buttons for this show.
yeah.
Okay, so back to the Washougal.
No, Washugala.
I don't. That tire is not my favorite tire for, especially at the Mint. I would run the Parker all day long, every single day. That Parker worked perfect from Ensenada all the way down to Cabo, and only mounted only in the hard direction. By the way, the Kenda Parker, but the Washougal it's a good tire in a straight line, and it's actually better than the Parker in the sand washes and stuff for kind of like grip and feel, but it tends to kind of grab a little bit on ruts, and it's a little bit of a bigger tire and a little bit more, like I said, it's a little bit more grabby on the sides for me, but it's a personal preference. And the reason that the top guys don't run the Parker is because I say it's good, number one, and number two is because it looks funky. It looks like a bunch of little erasers on top of a pencil, and they just it's a visual thing, and it's what they think, and maybe they just don't want their bike to slow down that much when they get on the brakes, or slow down that predictably. But that's my go-to tire. But and when you look at the top guys, and remember, generally the top guys are all sponsored. You have to remember this. Most top riders are sponsored, and tires are hard to get. It's hard to get tire sponsors. Some tire sponsorship are using others and stuff like that. So I'm always a little bit. I was always a little bit particular about, like, especially with motocross these days. So everybody's on Dunlops, right? And you can't go, well, all the top pros are running Dunlops, so that has to be the tire. It's like, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of other sponsorships available for some of these guys, and I know there's other really good tires for out there. So the best thing you can do with tires is try a couple different ones, see what you like, and then after you get a feel for what you like, then you can talk to these guys, talk to the top pros, and ask them, and then you can kind of see a direction. Because just because one guy likes it, because I get in arguments all the time with guys about tires. And I'm never saying that they're wrong. I just they'll tell me how something works, and I'm like, really? It works like that? Have you ever tried this? And then I kind of gauge after talking to them about something that I know versus another thing that I know, and we can kind of see if they have the same kind of feel, or if they're relaying the same kind of if they're getting the same information back. And you can ride a bike different and make a front tire work different. I get this, but yeah. And I think the Washougal is a pretty hardy carcass on it as well, and is pretty good at flat prevention too. So, okay, got something else in there. We're supposed to call Trevor, talk 250Fs.
Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and ring him up?
I'll think about it. Got another question.
We got one from the 2022 YZ250X intro.
Okay.
Finn825 said, Would it make any sense to buy this or the WR? I would just do basic trail riding, so the WR seems like it will work well. I like how the FX comes fully unlocked with the GYTR package and it weighs 9 pounds less. But the WR comes with a better exhaust for the trail and the compliant suspension. I can't decide.
And that's on the Michelin tire intro.
Yep.
He's going straight to like, is this better than the WR?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm taking this question there, Flynn Y825, is because Yamaha. And since we're talking about Yamaha 4-strokes, this is where you would just blend right into that thing.
That little ad
You would go, hey, Flynn.
Hey Flynn, here's some advice for you. The Yamaha YZ 4-stroke motorcycle. For motocross riders driven to dominate, the YZ line of 4-strokes bikes are built for victory. Visit YamahaMotorsports.com today to explore what's new and improved for 2022. The YZ450F and YZ250F bring the performance with powerful 4-stroke engines, reduced unsprung weight, and new suspension settings. For the full look, factory ride, both YZ450F and 250F comes in exclusive Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Edition graphics package. And you can take precision, turnability to the next level with the Yamaha.
Turnability?
That's what it says. Tuna ability.
Tuna ability. It's like fishing. If tuna ability, it's like fishing. Tuna ability. That's
How do I
good.
say that?
That's what you do at Washugala.
Yeah, Washougal. Yeah, there's a river that runs right there, and you could go tuna ability. Hey, Trevor, you want to do an ad read for us? It's rewarding and refreshing all at the same time.
It's got tunable in it too.
Right. So where do you go?
I can short.
Where should they go?
Oh, visit YamahaMotorsports.com today. Find your Yamaha YZ and enter the victory zone.
Perfect. Welcome to the show, Trevor Hunter. You're
I
gonna.
can shorten that read up if you want.
Oh, you can.
Yamaha YZ250FX, winner of Dirt Bike Test 250 Off-Road Shootout, maybe?
Oh, we're just gonna roll that right into the Yamaha ad. That's
Maybe.
That's really good because we're just paid out around here. Just everything's paid off.
Well, that's why they won, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They won because it's the best bike for that. Like probably 99% because of the motor, I would guess.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
It has a bit to do with it.
Hey, so Trevor, this guy that watched your Michelin video, he didn't complain a whole lot about like the fact that you did a whole riding impression of the Michelin video and didn't talk about the tire at all. It was just you riding around on the track.
Yep.
You should just turn the camera around and point it at you instead of going forward, and just like so we can just watch you instead of like all the other stuff.
We can make that happen next time.
Yeah. Next time, talk about the product we're testing.
All right.
Okay. So he's curious. He's wants to know how the YZ versus the WR would be.
For trail riding.
250 or 450?
250.
or...
Yeah. 250. So he's watched your video and of course you're on the YZ250 FX, right?
Yep.
And he says he wants to get it with the basically he's kind of curious about it. The FX would be less money, right?
Probably. I would
Because
think so.
and it's 9 pounds less.
Yep.
And then if he gets the WR, it has a better exhaust for trail riding and it's more compliant suspension, but he can't decide.
I would say the WR might take a little bit of work to get up to speed. Like,
Yeah, you have to buy
ECU
you have to buy
law.
you have to buy the competition kit, and basically that turns it into an FX. It just turns it. It makes the bike into an FX with the exception of the exhaust, and the exhaust you need to take the little tiny pea shooter out of it at least, and they still run pretty good and super quiet. But if you want the full FX, you'd have to get a more open exhaust, or at least buy kind of an aftermarket spark arrestor. But the WR would be a little bit more costly, and I don't necessarily think that the suspension is all that much better for I don't know, for trail riding. I kind of when I was riding the WR the last time we had one, I thought I kind of actually I'm heavier too. So the FX actually ends up being pretty good for trail riding for me. The YZ would be horrible. It's just too stiff. But the WR kind of like was a little, I would call it a little packy. You know, I was kind of crushing it a little bit. So
Yep.
so you decided without any of my input on riding those bikes that the Yamaha FX is the best 250 off-road 4-stroke.
I just figured they pay us the most, so we had to say that.
Oh.
Isn't that how this works?
Yeah, okay, let's run with that. No, it doesn't work like that. When I like to do shootouts, I always like to have everybody get together, all the people that rode the bike get together, and we pick a winner. And then after that,
Yep.
I quit. I don't want to rank anything after that because everybody wants to know, hey, what wins? That's just the people that with no brains go, I want to know what won. Okay, this one wins. But that could be the worst bike for you. If you wanted to, let's just say, you know what, Trevor, I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to say that the YZ 250FX is the best bike. But the main thing in my whole life is I want a bike to feel super light and agile. So I should go buy the Yamaha FX?
Probably not.
Oh, then it's not the best.
No.
See how I just did that?
Yep.
No. So the way we've done a couple like shootout, more comparison than shootout.
Mhm.
That's how we like to do it. And so I had everyone rank the bikes for them personally, but I don't really plan on an overall winner unless maybe a bike is a winner for everyone.
Right.
They can possibly declare a winner, but even then, still may not be the best bike for you. So it's kind of it's up to the.
You can say collectively
reader
the
to do
bike
that.
that was it was never, when we did it, it was very rare that everybody picked the same bike. You know, there's always, and I used to try to get a pretty diverse group of test riders, guys that rode and raced different things. You know, you can't just have a bunch of guys that race Yamahas and test all your bikes, and then of course the one that they're most familiar with is the one that always wins. You want to have a few different guys, and in fact, a lot of times when we were out testing, I was riding with guys that were manufacturer development test riders and different things, and these guys at least were honest enough with me when they would ride it. You know, they would always pick their brand as the best one, but you know, it was generally because they were most familiar. A lot of times I'm ask them real specific questions about like, what do you like about your brand one that's better than this? You know, like let's just say if we were kind of talking about power on these bikes, and I haven't ridden all of them, so I can't comment specifically, but I know the Yamaha is really good. It has been, and I've ridden some of the motocross bikes, and it clearly has a standout, especially for off road, because at the low end to mid range, the bike's just really impressive. And so, if somebody let's say came from the KTM side of the fence and said they thought their bike had better low end, that would be kind of a difficult thing to believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Very difficult. Yeah.
So, but doesn't the KTM have pretty good torque if you really test the torque? If you're not really worried about like, you know, how fast it picks up, if the bike has really good torque for a bike that, quote, doesn't feel like it has torque.
Yeah, I agree. I think like in that, looking at it like that, like trail riding, the KTM, we're like riding like tighter terrain. We got to be kind of smooth and like not ride a super high gear, just kind of lug it around. It is surprisingly torquey, not Yamaha-esque, but it does have quite a bit of torque, and it'll keep you moving, where some of the other off-road bikes don't have that. But the KTM, it doesn't get up and go right away.
Yeah, and these are the kind of things that we like to try to describe, you know, when we talk about the power. And hopefully when you're writing this all down, when you're putting this down, you're going to break it up into sections about, you know, you want to have, just like that we do in the tests, you know, power, suspension, handling, and then, talk about the overall, you know, bikes as a whole. And that way, if somebody's like, I'm super focused on power, I want to know about this. And that way it's easy to kind of go back and forth and really describe them. Because in a test, you can't, in just a single bike test, you don't get the opportunity. You can kind of bring up other bikes, but until they actually go ride bikes back to back, side by side, they're all really good. It's not
They-
till you get back to back situations that you can like really feel the differences.
Yeah, even riding all of them back to back, I've ridden them. I think it's 2 or 3 days now. I've ridden every single bike back to back to back. They are all very good. Some suit me better than others, but they are all very good. They all have like a market of riders they appeal to, and all are very capable, I believe.
And you're just saying all that so that we get other sponsors from other manufacturers after you make the Yamaha win, right?
Yes,
You
obviously.
go to them and say, hey, you want to win a shootout next year?
Yep, pay us money.
Matt, what bike won for you? What was your favorite bike?
It wasn't even close. It was the YZ 250FX.
Really?
Yeah, I loved that thing. It was really it was like the battle for second in my head. Sorry, once I rode that, it was a battle for second between like the Cowboy and the Honda. Those two were like really close for me.
Best trait about the Honda?
I would say definitely it's more of its low end power, kind of like that, especially on its mellow map.
Oh, really? Okay. Out of all the characteristics of the Honda, you're going to the low end power.
That's
Okay,
yeah, that's what I felt. But also its straight line stability was also pretty impressive as well.
Okay. That's
but
strange to me too.
I liked it. In like if there was a rut, I felt very comfortable like going through it with that Honda. And then with the Cowie though, I loved how like I instantly gelled with its ergonomics, and
Okay.
I loved like how it felt pretty like nimble and then thin to me. I liked that a lot.
Trevor?
Yeah.
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 You're not gonna. And we had a gas, which is the one that represented all the KTM's.
Yep.
Where was it?
For me, actually, for me, it was last. But I will say, I was more impressed with it than I thought I would be.
You hate. Okay, this is this out in the open. You absolutely hate KTM's in general.
No.
Except you race one in the best in the desert, but you hated it when you were racing KTM's. You wanted to ride Yamahas all the time.
So, my only KTM 250F experience was I raced one for a full year, and I don't know if I got a bad bike or what happened, but that thing was really, really slow, and so that's why I wasn't really looking forward to riding this gas.
Well, your dad worked on it.
Maybe that's probably it. but the gas, this gas, and pretty much every other KTM I've ridden, other than mine, has been a lot better than what I had. So can't really explain that, but it was much better than I was expecting it to be.
Well, because it was stock. Nobody jacked with it. You know, it's funny when you start modifying stuff how it works.
Even mine was stock, but
yeah,
for whatever reason, it just did not.
No, I know you had some issues with it and stuff, and you never really liked the way. Well, I know the reason I was picking on you. I know you never have been a big fan of the KTM handling, like in general.
That too.
Overall,
No.
anytime we've ever, whether it's been a motocross bike or an off-road bike or whatever, it just didn't seem like. I mean, and it's funny because it's not that it's not a Japanese bike because you like the way that betas handle. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's in a KTM and a beta handle quite a bit different. So that's why I was kind of just poking around at how it works. And I haven't ridden one the last couple of years that I think of, but I've ridden that engine family, and I know that it's probably not on par with the Yamaha on the low end and stuff. And I don't think that like I said, it's strange. They have torque. They just don't accelerate. It's like the cam doesn't really come on into play to really get it to rev. I think they design it so that it torques and then it revs. And
Yes.
and the rider is either going to ride it one way or another way. And generally racing, you're never going to be down in the area where quote it torques.
Honestly, I couldn't say it any better than that. Yeah.
So
So and that's actually it's interesting because like There was an SRA GP this last weekend, and I actually every lap during the race I switched bikes between the four, so I kind of got a feel for every bike under a race situation on a race course, and it's kind of cool to see or to experience that all those bikes in that situation.
Yeah, that's
And
how
then just how
I
racing
used to do it when I was at Dirt Rider and Cycle World. I'd take out bikes and we'd go. SRA Grand Prix were perfect for getting a lot of laps on test bikes, and super fun racing on a Sunday afternoon. So, Matt, anything else you want to add to that? No,
it was pretty fun.
I liked riding dirt bikes all day. This is awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. No, and it was great to be part of, like, it was great to, Trevor was really good about asking me questions every now and then to, make sure I was really paying attention to, the stuff I was riding.
Did, how come he didn't give you new gear?
I don't know.
Trevor, you hoarding all of the new gear?
No, I was trying to represent our paid sponsor.
Climb?
With my big,
Not with
yeah.
3-year-old Jimmy hand-me-down gear. You shouldn't have. And I forgot I didn't know he was going out there. I just texted him yesterday. I'd been in Mexico. I would have got him something better, but he'll fall out of anything I have anymore. So Scotty Rice wants to know: do we have a TM racing bike in our test?
We do not. I would love. We could try one, but we do not have one.
Yeah, they were actually a while back. They were pretty excited about getting us test bikes, but yeah. Do they have 250F? I know they're pretty kind of pushing the 2-strokes right now.
Yeah, I see a lot of 2-strokes of the TMs that I do see. A lot of them are 2-strokes. Seems like at the races.
Yeah, they're pushing with like a lot of the kind of the we'll call them privateer extreme enduro guys. They have a few of those guys out there and stuff. So okay, any other tidbits of information we need to know about? Did I do a good job promoting Costa Rica Unlimited?
I would say you did a pretty good job.
Okay, just checking because I know that's one of your your big clients. Might be your main employer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Just maybe.
Do you like my idea about having Matt be a tour guide down there and have work on all the technical issues?
Maybe. I do know his riding coach business wouldn't do very good because apparently everyone that goes down there, they're all ex-pros. So they wouldn't have to worry about riding.
So he wouldn't have to teach him how to ride.
No, apparently not.
I don't know, Trevor. The ex-pros I saw with the Moto schools at Glen Helen today.
Oh, the corner coaches?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Like,
Did you just get over the back and gas it?
Oh no, it was elbows up and squat down.
Oh yeah, because lower center of gravity.
Yeah,
That's exactly the way that Jet Lawrence rides like that.
Yeah,
Did you notice that?
And this guy's students literally were falling down, going straight. Like every time I came around the spun corner, there was always fresh foot marks or a bike down.
I wonder what the problem is.
Yeah.
You go to Jimmy Lewis riding school. Jimmy Lewis teach you how to really do it right.
Right, but nobody wants to come here because I teach the important. I mean, the basic stuff.
Right.
So, okay, Trevor. Well, thanks for calling in. When this is all in print tomorrow.
Something like that.
Hey, how did that suspension thing work?
It was pretty cool. I think I'm not like super techy, I guess.
Uh huh.
It's one of those things where like he kind of explained it to me and like was showing me, and that helped me understand it. There's definitely potential for it. We'll have some. He said he wanted to get back to from Ireland. So he wanted to get back to Ireland before we post anything.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. The biggest thing.
But why? If you post something, you might not be able to leave the country.
No, he just wanted to like be back in Ireland in case he gets like a bunch of orders from how good our test is going to be.
Oh,
so
I wanted to try it. I just went riding in Mexico instead.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. The lap timing, like the GPS with the lap timing thing, that's really cool. Kind of like a Lit Pro in a sense. What else was there?
But were you able to like look at the telemetry from the suspension and determine anything that you felt that could you feel everything that it was telling you, or did it tell you stuff that surprised you?
No, it did tell you. Like the biggest thing I saw was it told you like how I think it was how fast the suspension was moving through the travel.
Mm-hmm.
So like off road on the Yamaha, off road it was moving. I don't know what the measurement is, but like 0.245 meters per second or something like that.
Right.
But then you jump on the motocross track and it's like 0.345 or 0.4 meters per second. So it's noticeably softer, or moving noticeably faster through the stroke on the motocross track versus off-road setting, which is what you'd expect.
Because of the shape of the bumps.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're not necessarily moving faster
No.
on the motocross track. What about using up? And you could actually see where the bike bottomed out,
Yeah.
and then how long it stayed down, how long it took to rebound.
Yep.
And then where it was, you could also tell. There's also ways to tell where it was settling in the stroke, like where the suspension was settling into the stroke.
Yeah, it's sort of like showed like the from fully bottomed out to fully topped out, and everything in between. And then you could like dial in. You could pick a certain section of a track, you can, like make it yourself, and like do a close up of how the suspension worked in the specific area on this lap with this setting, kind of thing.
And so if you went in and did a lap around, and then you went in and made a high speed compression change and went and rode another lap, you could see what that did.
Yes.
And did you try this?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it pretty dramatic?
It was fairly dramatic. The only issue I came across with is because I had no idea how like it worked exactly. You're supposed to like start and stop the system as soon as you start and end your lap. And when I did it, I just kept it on the whole time. It was like reading suspension, was reading the travel as I was like sitting still making changes or something like that. So it kind of skewed the overall numbers.
Okay.
But if you dialed in just like a certain lap, you could tell through the numbers you could tell if it was softer, stiffer, slower rebound, fast rebound, whatever change you're making.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is stuff that factory teams have. The suspension telemetry. Do you remember what was the name of the company?
Moto Click.
Moto Click. That's MOTOKLIK.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, people can check that out. Like I said, I've been waiting to kind of see what you were gonna. I definitely wanted to give that a try. But
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fairly expensive.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. I think it's something that a suspension tuner. Where I really saw the thing is like a suspension tuner could give it to a guy, and you could go out and ride around and come back, and he could look at the stuff, and then it would be a really good way for a guy that instead of going, okay, how much do you weigh? What's your weight and what's your skill level? I see this all the time, and then they're going to come up with a better setting based on that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what I kind of look at as an individual may not necessarily bias, but a suspension company would or could, and just send it out to a bunch of different riders. Pay for one, and just use it on different test riders at different times.
Yep.
And help themselves, whereas more as like individual riders be a little too costly to just buy off the shelf for yourself.
Unless you're a geek, cool, tech geek or something like that. So, all right, Trevor, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for giving us updates. I see that you how many people signed off when Trevor was here?
Actual viewership increased.
It increased.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good job, Trevor. Yeah. Well, we're going to bring on some other donkey in the next hour, and we'll see if we can make the ratings go to hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll bring the cat and the strippers in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Strippers. Tech Talk Taco Tuesday and strippers. Okay, with that, Trevor, I think we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break, and we will catch you guys on the backside.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
All right. We'll put on ads now.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
And we're back. We're back, and we've got our everybody's favorite segment. It's not just mine. It's everybody's favorite segment. This is what we call Roost or Endo, and we have a special guest who called in just for this segment. Welcome to the show, Ricky Brabeck.
What's going on?
We know how much you like Roost or Endo. I think, has your bike roosted or endoed?
You endoed it last time.
Okay,
Because it was a resubmission.
Oh, it was a resubmission.
Yeah.
Okay,
but that bike never grows old. Like, it's just always on the Roost side.
Not in this chart. So we'll let you help. We'll let you get revenge on. I don't have any of my bikes that I know of, but we'll see what we got here. So Ricky had the unpleasurable experience of having to ride from Ensenada to Cabo San Lucas with me last week. How did that go, Ricky?
Yeah, it was definitely horrible. I mean, I don't know who would want to ride their dirt bike from Ensenada to Cabo in middle of the week on a freshly groomed race course.
That's essentially what it was. In fact, so I haven't been down to Baja for like 17, 18 years now. And what we were doing is we were verifying the road books for the Nora Mexican 1000, which, by the way, if you are, and I think Ricky will agree with me on this, if you want to get into rally racing on a motorcycle, this would be the perfect first event to do, because it's instead of doing like kind of crazy technical navigation like where you race in the real world, it's like, I'll call it beginner rally. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The full-blown beginner-style navigation. A couple tricky notes here and there, but I think we got it cleaned up. But, yeah, it's, 5 days of riding your motorcycle. Can't complain there. With simple navigation, and gets you all the way to Cabo. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right?
I was blown away. I mean, it was, I haven't, like I said, there's some stuff that had changed quite a bit, and some stuff that hadn't changed at all. And a lot of the sections, there's certain kind of famous sections that they use, and a lot of these race courses use. But what Nora does, they do a really good job of putting you on places that are like good race course, but then when it gets really chewed up and bad, they take you off. And then this is where they're able to use the map book navigation to get you off and go on less used roads and less beat up stuff, and actually some really fun stuff. And then what we also found out is places that used to be really hooped out and torn up in the past have been graded, which I was not looking forward to one day, because I kind of had an idea where it was going to go, and I was blown away by how freshly graded it was.
Yeah, same, because I was on the big rally bike, and like you said, it was, Nora found a good way to get around all the big truck stuff, and I would say out of 1,000+ miles of riding our motorcycles, we maybe hit 6 miles of terrible whoops total.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and that's when I was having a tire related issue, and yeah, and that was the only place that I wasn't having fun because I wanted to jump some of that stuff, and I just didn't know which way it was going to take off or which way I was going to land because I had a it was some stuff I was testing. It was a failure, and I should have prevented it. I tested a lot of stuff. I haven't tested those new glasses, huh? Where's my glasses at? Can't bring
New
them.
glasses, dude. You tested new goggles. You didn't want to fix the issue when I brought it up 2 days beforehand.
Oh yeah, well
then we had to do a trail side repair.
Test to failure. That's what you do. But hey, I got us out of there. I had all the stuff, right?
You did have all the stuff.
Yeah, all the things, even the little
Which I was
hand
really
pump.
impressed.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be in trouble. And I did get a ride with the local, who's now my new buddy for connection for surfing. So he has a house on the beach. He invited me down there in December. He says they have a surf contest and I can come. So all hooked. It all worked out for the better. So
it usually does.
So what do you think of my Logan replacement?
Yeah, never met the new kid.
His name's Clipper. He works for me in the schools. He's Logan's replacement. Are you what? So you're one of these cousins, right? You're like a cousin of Logan somehow.
Nope, I'm not even related to him.
Not even like everybody's like his brother.
Yeah, he's got a huge family.
Like his dad has like 6 brothers, and they all have kids. You're not one of those, right?
Nope.
No, you just showed up on a horse or something.
Yep, on a horse.
Right. That's how I know this guy. So, anyways, we're gonna do Rooster Endo. He's gonna read off what the bike is, and then we get to talk about. We'll hold it up to the screen so you get to see it pretty good or as good as you can. Let's go and start with the first.
Does anyone have a video submission?
I think there was one, but he had the video locked on accident, and I couldn't access it.
Oh, it was a private video.
He made it as a private video.
It's like most of mine. Oh boy. Okay, so I've already taken some issues with this guy here. So who is it?
His name's Bob Bristol.
Bob Bristol. So we're gonna hold this up here, and hopefully Matt's gonna put it up on the screen. You know the guy that was asking about what kind of glasses to use inside of your goggles?
Not these ones.
Well, yeah, don't use these, and don't take a picture through your glasses that are all fogged up. With I can hardly even see this.
I'm trying to get it up, but OBS is having some issues here.
Right, Matt is having problems again with our awesome show. So
this is what happens when you.
It's
let
a
your
KTM
producer-
2-stroke.
It is a KTM 2-stroke, and the other thing I can see on the front of it is a big giant chainsaw.
Yeah, it's a 2014 KTM 200 XCW.
I just sold one of these. I haven't been paid for it, but I sold it. So
you gave it away.
Well, technically, right now I have given it away.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now it's up on the screen.
Now it's up on the screen there, and don't start squinting and touching your eyes because you might get COVID by touching your eyes. I think I just caught COVID, Logan. I think you just gave me COVID.
Yeah.
I'm all jacked up, so I'm good.
Hey, that thing is a trail master.
Right. What? Keep talking about it.
So it's got an FMF gnarly pipe and spark arrestor.
That's my setup usually.
I'm not sure how to say this. NECJ Suzuki needle and stock carb. Resprung for his weight. He's got a tubeless in front and back. Shurko 525 cheater on back.
Shinko.
Yep, a Shinko.
Shinko. Yeah.
Yep. And then a golden tire, fatty on front.
I can see that.
Regrid LED light pods, so I have lights with my chainsaw mount. Sierra handguards, flex bars, Pro Moto billet fender. Billet fender. Rack for more gas or whatever. And Tuscarora spacers to protect from wheel bearings.
That's a trail hog, that machine right there. I like it. I would like to see it better, but he spends his money on good quality modifications for his machine, and he's still shooting phone pictures with a flip phone like Nokia 5200, I think. This guy's really hard in the running. This bike roosts, right, Ricky?
I mean, I would definitely roost that bike because, if he's carrying a chainsaw, he's building quality trails.
Yeah. I like this. This bike's right now. This one's way ahead in the Taco Moto. This segment brought to you by Taco Moto, where you can win a $100 gift certificate to help improve your bike even farther from the Well, if it roosts, it's going to make it roost better. Or if it endos, it might pull it out of that category. So, next bike.
So here we got from Aaron Stafford. It's a 2016 KTM 500 XCW.
Okay, let me see it.
I like this picture. This is my favorite picture.
Yeah, this picture's so small in my hand, Ricky. I can't even hold it up. You're gonna have to wait till Matt
Once
puts it on the.
You'll see why it was trimmed down so much for the Rooster Endo board. Because you see how much I'm having to resize this thing. There we go.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is a toy 2018 Custer Lookout.
It's a tour of Idaho. I know exactly where this is at.
Here we go.
He said, I know I did this wrong, but love to share my brother's near miss, Don L. Stafford. Love you, bro. We got real lucky that day.
Okay, so this is this isn't even okay. The rules are we need make, model here.
Yep.
And I want to know what you modify your bike. So it's a KTM 500?
He modified it with scratches.
Yep.
2016 XCW. Okay. And then he talks about his brother. Is that his brother standing in the photo? Is he crying? He looks like he's crying.
Looks like he's pulling a rope or something in his hand.
Well, like Martin tells you should bring a rope and pulley system on the Tour of Idaho, and I just prefer to stay on the trail. But, you do what you got to do. Endo.
Yeah, very clear that he already ended.
Yeah, he already endoed, and it's going to endo again on the thing here. But like, I think he's weeping a little bit as well. Okay. Next contestant.
This one's a pretty cool gig going on. This is Jason Allisworth. And he says, my wife was cool enough to ride 60 miles like this on my XR600 to go dirt bike camping with our friends.
Whoa.
Dirt bike
XR6
camping, Jimmy. We have something like that coming up.
We do? I thought I quit on that idea already. I
give up.
I'm old and I don't want to ride for 24 hours anymore. San Felipe Bob will go with you though. San Felipe Bob will be my stand-in for this. He's so into going 24 hours or Baja 2000. Just ask him. Jim Jarvis, is the camera out of focus or did the cat lick the lens? So that was the bike that's roosting right now. There might have been some cat licking the lens. That's for sure. So can you see this Chariot here, Ricky? Look at this thing.
Yeah, thing's sick.
The best part is look at what he loaded up his wife with. It's like, here, honey, you take all this.
You get the weight.
Yeah, don't bother buying a fender rack or something like that. Just load up your wife.
At least she's got pegs.
Yeah, she's got foot pegs. He's got the nice clear IMS tank with a lot of gas in there. It almost looks like race gas. You notice the blue color on that thing?
Yeah, dude, he's definitely put some race gas in there.
He's got a little skinny tire on the back though. I'm a little worried about this.
That's like it looks like a 110.
Yeah, little
Little
tiny,
bit small.
yeah, little tire, especially for riding double up. And I'm gonna give you another trick here. Is when you're riding double up with your woman like that, you want to wear, if you're gonna wear a backpack, you wear it on the front, like a camel front, and that way she can get closer because you've got a lot of weight, a pendulum on the back with all that stuff, and you want it as far forward as possible. So
Yeah, center to forward.
yeah, I think that's a good setup. It's hard to kickstart with her on the back too. You need an electric starter. But
Does he?
oh wait, no,
Does he have a?
that's a 650L. Does he say it's a 650L? It looks like a 650L at least. I can't tell.
I think he just said 650.
It's just got XR600.
XR. It says XR600, but I'm looking. Oh, the tailpipe looks like an XR600. I'm just looking kind of like it has turn signals on it. It might just be a Baja Designs kit or something like this.
It has mirrors too.
Yeah, he's covering the motor with his awesome. Those probably aren't Climb pants or boots, but
Wranglers.
Wranglers. So, okay, it's a Honda, Ricky. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think I would go double, but obviously it's going to go towards the Roost side. I wouldn't go full Roost.
Full. It's a
But,
medium. It's a medium Roost.
Yeah, but more towards Roost.
More towards Roost. What do you
We
think,
got to
Jeb?
get you a new board.
Looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. What does that mean?
I don't think my girlfriend would get on the back of me with like that.
No? Why? Is she too hot?
Logan, would you get on the back with me like that?
Well, that's a big switch going straight from your girlfriend to Logan.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Here we got from Jared Sherwood. It's a 2022.
Hey, Logan, next time make the board out of cork or something like that. I'm going to pinch
That was the softest wood
in the school. Yeah, okay. Well, just go to the the hardware store or the lumber yard or something like that, and just expense it on me, and just get some. Whoa. Okay.
So it's a 2022 Ti 250i, 0.8 miles on it. And then I'm going to guess the other one's a 2017 TE 300.
You're gonna guess.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. And then it's got Slavin's a Mule high compression component cylinder head kit by S3, Recluse, EXP 3.0, Moose bib front and back, Enduro Engineering disc guards front and back, Fast Flex handlebars, and Scott's Performance steering dampener.
And the other one, what's the other one? All stock?
Yeah, it doesn't say much,
Doesn't say much.
just 0.8 miles.
0.8 miles.
So he rolled it straight from the dealership to his stand for the picture. He's very excited to submit it.
Submit 2 bikes.
Yeah,
Is he showing off?
I think so.
He's like
I
trying.
think he's showing off.
I've got 2 bikes, and you don't. He has the awesome climb backpack, which I wore all the way from Ensenada to Cabo San Lucas.
He's also got a Caselli sticker on the water bottle in the back.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Dude, look at
George's
on the front.
sticker.
Oh, no.
You didn't see that.
I didn't see it till just now.
How did he get
I saw
George's
it
sticker?
first.
Shit.
Oh.
I saw it right at the same time. It's like you start analyzing the photo, and there's George's sticker in there. This
Oh, no.
sounds kind of sinister.
This sounds pretty Endo worthy.
Yeah.
This is rigged.
It's rigged.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder who is it? What's the guy's name?
His name
George
is
is selling stickers
Jared Sherwood.
Jared Sherwood. He's got yeah.
He's
How did
really
he
trying
get-
to win that $100.
He's not going to win it with he had to have gotten money to put that sticker.
You can't fix a bike that has that sticker on it.
Right. yeah.
Like, look at that car.
But that sticker, hey, there's George's sticker on that bike that also has a disc guard in the front.
Does it?
Didn't you say disc guards front and rear?
Yep, disc guards front and back.
Oh, shit.
It says that.
Yep, Enduro.
He wrote it
Turned
down.
the bike, turned the wheel so you couldn't see it.
A lot of people are doing that now. That's a big thing. Actually, I rode I rode halfway to Cabo San Lucas with the guy with the disc guard before I realized it. And if it wouldn't have been that far back down, I would have turned around and gone home.
Really?
Like Mike Shirley had the disc guard.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
asked him, like, why do you have this thing? Then Ricky took a good look at it. It had dents in it. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, if you're going to dent it like that. But his was, he had like an oversized one, didn't he, Ricky?
I'm not sure.
It looked kind of
about
big.
disc guards. That thing looked giant.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a big disc guard. It was like almost for an oversized thing. But so he's got disc guards that he's hiding, and he's got a George sticker he's trying to slide in here. So there's some sinister. I think he has a fuck you sticker on. I can't tell if that's one or not on the front fender, but can't tell what it is. It's a little difficult. I think this guy's playing us somehow, but he does have some good mods on there. The bar risers look ridiculously tall, though. Does it say bar risers on there?
It doesn't say it.
Steering.
That's
It's for the
that's
Scott.
flex bars, baby.
It's steering stabilizer?
He said he's got
Yeah,
a
he's got a
steering
sub mount?
stabilizer. Yeah, and then it's the flex bars.
Yeah.
Yep.
When's he going to start modifying the other one? Can't have that stock thing sitting next to it.
You know what, Jimmy? He's gonna ride that other one, that bone stock one, and right away he's gonna like that one 8 times more than the Black Knight bike.
Never seen that happen before. So, yeah, these man, the George sticker's really throwing me off.
It's
weighing
it down.
It's weighing heavy.
Yeah.
I think
It messes with the aerodynamics.
No, I think this bike would feel a lot more comfortable down here by George's other bike,
I think so too.
which is down. Like I said, misery likes company.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, Jared, is it Jared?
Yep,
Yeah,
Jared.
Jared.
Sherwood.
Sorry, Jared. The good good try and stumping the professor here, but I don't know what mods did he have done to the motor on that thing. He said a mule kit or something.
Yeah, he's got a Slavin's high compression component cylinder head, and then a Recluse.
How does that work? I'm kind of curious. I wonder how that. What's the George? Did you ride this thing? Is this one of your wherever you live now, Montana buddies? Hey, I got to show you my electric bill from next door. I think there's something wrong with your motorhome, by the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, plugged in, and the meter started spinning like crazy, evidently. So, and George says, I like the guy wasn't afraid to crossbreed the KTM 2-stroke with the Suzuki needle. I don't know if this is necessarily a Suzuki needle, but that there were some needles that worked better on those KTM 200s. I remember changing around in mine. I don't remember exactly what it had in there. Hey, I'd like to thank DDC Sprockets, longtime sponsor of the show, the first sponsor of this show. These are gears above the competition. It says so right there. And they work excellent. How do I know? Because I rode all the way to Cabo San Lucas with one of these sprockets on my bike. So just so you know. Or at least it was on one of the wheels that I used.
One of them.
I know it was on one of them. We started with, between me and Mike Shirley, we started with 4 wheels, and we only have 3 left. between my spare wheel bearing going out and his spokes just snapping like how many spokes was it? 5 or 6 spokes, Ricky?
Yeah, I mean it was 5, I think, to be exact.
Yeah,
and then he broke the next day too.
Yeah, it was, and here's an interesting lesson is, and Mike didn't know this, and so Mike had he had his wheel built and trued by a guy. And then he went and tightened. He felt the spokes are a little bit tight because they don't need a whole lot of tension on them. And he went and tightened them. Like he said, I turned each one a half turn more. And I was taking like almost a 3/4 of a turn out once I started loosening everything back up. And I'm like, man, these are way too tight. If you want to learn how to properly spoke your wheels or the tension of wheels, Fasst Company makes a spoke torque wrench that all the factory mechanics have. And it's the best way to learn proper torque for your wheel. I use one sometimes, but now I learn, so I don't have to use it, so I can do it out in the trail. But this is how I learned, by using a spoke torque wrench from Fasst Company. Get them while supplies last, right? But anyways, so if you over tighten, here's what happens when you tighten your spokes too tight, is that it puts the wheel in a bind, and spokes are designed to flex and move a little bit. And so when you hit something, you let's say you hit a really sharp rock, it actually breaks the spokes on the top of the wheel, not where you hit it. Because imagine it hits it and it tries to stretch the spokes on the other side of the wheel and pull on it, and it pops. Generally, it pops the little heads off the spokes, not where the nipples are, but down where it goes in the hub, or it snaps them right where the threads either attach to the thing or where the threads start on the spoke. And so this is what had happened to Mike's wheel, because we rode on a little bit of rocks, and I'm sure that he was just pile driving them, trying to test the metal of his wheel. So how many in 1,000 miles of road books that were unverified or not even corrected, Ricky? How many mistakes did you make?
I don't know. I blew corners.
I know of only one where I saw it was one that we all made, and you figured it out without having to go back. I was going to figure it out the same way you did, but I went back because I had to make sure the road book was correct. But other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it was fairly simple, but also had a few brainstorming sections, which is good because that's kind of what rally is. But
yeah, you get to think about it.
Down the peninsula,
it kind of changes the way, because there's some sections, I've pre-run there, so I kind of knew it. I knew them already, but it actually changed the way that I saw the whole section. I actually thought about it a little bit different. It made it kind of like a different level of interesting for me.
Yeah, because it riding down dirt roads, I mean, yeah, it gets kind of boring. But if you're reading a road book, you're occupied and you're always glancing around trying to find the next corner or the next
Yeah, the next
like the
next note, whatever's
picture.
coming. Yeah,
Yeah.
keeping an eye out for the locals coming backwards on the course. Race. They see you
Yeah,
and they
those-
want. They see you and they want to race. They want to show you how fast they can go too.
They want to show you the burnouts and everything.
Yeah. So, anyways, hey, thanks for. Hey, when's your next race?
I don't know. It's in Spain, I think, the beginning of June. So I'm home for some time now.
The Andalusia Rally. Is that what it's called?
Andalusia.
Andalusia Rally. And so this is part of World Rally Championship.
Yeah, that's correct.
And how are you doing in that particular series?
Well, the Dakar wasn't that great, so I'm not doing too hot. But Dubai, which was 5 days of just ginormous sand dunes, we got second. So I think we got a couple points there. And overall, I'm not sure where we're at, but hoping to keep progressing at Andalusia and then Morocco later in the year.
Yeah, doesn't matter until the end, right?
Doesn't matter until the end, exactly, and anything can happen. And everything's possible.
Yeah. How do they score that? It's scored on it's individual days, right? Each day you sort of get a score.
Yeah, each day you get a score. Yeah, depending on like your stage finish, obviously, and then obviously you get points for your overall finish too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Well, thanks for coming on and having Roost or Endo. Try not to submit any new ones because I'll just really, I don't know, make you feel bad about your bike. And, even if it is a factory Honda Rally bike, that got submitted, right?
That one roosted.
roosted, yeah.
It was when the 450 got submitted a second time.
Hey, I didn't even get to ride your bike. I didn't even steal your bike to ride your bike. I didn't even ask this time, did I?
You didn't even sit on it. You didn't even touch it.
I didn't have to because it wasn't breaking.
It's a Honda, dude.
Yeah. No, I actually, you know what? I wanted to ride it. I wanted to ride it in one section because I wanted to feel how slippery it was on like the super slippery roads because I wanted to see how my bike was doing compared to your bike. But I don't know. I'm not certified to ride that thing.
I mean, it was probably the same slipperiness, just with a little bit more weight.
Yeah, exactly, like a rally bike. Anyways, hey, thanks for coming on the show. We will get you in studio sometime soon, and maybe after that 24-hour dual sport ride or whatever the heck you're talking about.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, see ya.
See you, bye.
That was Monster Energy Honda HRC Factory Rally Racing JCR. It's Ricky Brabeck joining us again on friend of the show. Awesome guy to ride with. I tell you what. So there were some sections where he was down there doing a little bit of training, not really navigation training, but mostly just working on riding technique and riding and just time on the bike because we were doing long days. And there was places where you could tell where he like picked it up on speed, and you can tell because you see the line on the ground, and like that guy is on the gas or on the brakes. And I remember just from all of my years of racing when I would ride behind somebody like in an off-road race where you're doing roads where you could see the tracks, or even a lot of times any place where you kind of see the tracks, you can always judge by like if you're making up time or losing time on a guy. And so I could watch his tracks, and especially like where he was getting on the brakes and how hard he was getting on the brakes. Like I was already on the brakes, and I was, I thought I was going fast, and I'm already on the brakes, and I can see, oh, he got on the brakes there because you see the footprint get wider.
Yeah.
And it's not from the rear brake, it's from the front brake. That tire smashing down and going, and then you could see where he came on the gas. And I'm still trying to slow down. He's already slowed down and turned and got the bike on the gas, and he's pointed in the direction he wants to go and going. And it's not like I'm sliding off the turn. I mean, I'm kind of following his line, but I'm still not on the gas. I'm still slowing down, trying to go, how the... And then you wonder why. And he doesn't, every once in a while, how long are you waiting here for? And, it's like 10 or 15 minutes or something like this. It just got to the point where a lot of times we would finish the stage and then a counter, because we were using the trackers, a counter would go off. And so I just glance over at his tracker, and mine would be at 30 minutes because you get 30 minutes liaison between the sections. I look over, 17 minutes. Holy shit. So, it wasn't that long ago. We were just talking, in the stage when he decided, hey, he's going to go and take off. So pretty awesome to see, to see someone that just on that level and able to ride to that. So it's a pretty fun thing. So okay, Chris Hitchcock says I'd even load that front fender with some gear. Oh, talking about the double up.
I'm gonna guess it's the XR600.
Yeah, XR600. The guy who had the chainsaw on it. Oh, we got to pick a winner.
Yeah, who was the winner?
I already said it. What do you think?
I was liking that chainsaw guy.
I'm liking the
That was
chainsaw
pretty-
guy. Maybe he could, use something to have his cat quit licking the lens or something like that, or whatever he did. So what was his name there?
Bob Bristol.
Bob Bristol. Learn how to shoot better photos. You are the winner of the Taco Moto $100 gift certificate. That's awesome. Lots of effective parts in that bike. I like that. I like that kind of I like that. I mean, I always wonder why I don't like blingy stuff that much. And I'm starting to think that it's because when I don't want to, like if I bling my stuff up, I know I'm going to scratch it, and I think I would get upset. So it's kind of like when I have a new bike, you don't want to scratch it too much, but then you just go out and do that. You like that?
Well, dude, recently I just bought these graphics from Dirt Rider here in Vegas, and pretty sick graphics. After one race, they're just destroyed.
I haven't seen your bike for a while. Was it on it last time I saw it or not?
Yeah, it's got the amateur plates on it.
No, I don't remember. But whose bike were we riding last time?
I was riding Logan's.
Logan's bike?
Yeah.
Trying to scratch it up instead. He does a pretty good job as his own doing that. Did you like his air forks?
Yeah, they were pretty good.
You're supposed to say air forks suck.
They suck.
Everybody says this.
Yeah.
What does Dave Black want to know?
Yamaha's put together a rally team around the Tenery 700 with Pole.
Wow, you
Torres
got that word right?
running at the
That was Teneray.
Tunasaw Desert Challenge.
Okay, Tunasaw. That's right next to Washugala.
And the
At least that
African-
one has an A in the back of it.
Yeah.
in the African Echo race. It looks like Yamaha is doubling down on using two-cylinder bikes for their rally and enduro.
Yeah, they announced this last year. Their single cylinder rally team is done, or from what I understand, it's done. I know that Andrew Short is not racing with them anymore. So yeah, they decided that's something that they're selling, the Teneray, and they built some pretty cool bikes. They do some modifications to them. So yeah, they're going to do races where they have a twin cylinder class, and so in Tunisia Desert Challenge and the Africa Eco Race, which kind of traces the old traditional Dakar route, they'll be running those there. And so yeah, I don't know if they're doubling down, but they're racing something that they are selling. So I think they're doing pretty good with their racing their YZs and motocross, and
That's a good promotion going on right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
So-
say, I think they're doing pretty good in Supercross.
Yeah. Was that racing stuff?
Yeah, racing stuff.
So okay. We have any other questions?
I had a question that was emailed to me from Bill Hall.
Okay.
Jimmy, did you experience any overheating problems on the Tour of Idaho rides?
No.
Okay.
No, never. Not even close. But if you are experiencing overheating, I will tell you where it's coming from. It's generally your clutch use. It's the way you're using your clutch. You're using it to reduce the power of your motorcycle, and that power has to go someplace, and it goes into heat, and that will transfer into the oil, which will transfer up into the top end, which will transfer into your coolant, and that will cause overheating issues. But no, I didn't have any. Although my bike, yeah, that bike had a fan on it, a cooling fan on it, and I'm sure it came on a couple times here and there. But yeah, no significant issues that I can speak to.
And one thing that you had told me, and then you say it in the class a lot too, that really helped me with overheating problems with my bikes, and especially in tight technical trails, was you do not need to pull in the clutch if you're not going slower than first.
Yeah.
And that was something that actually just really clicked with me.
Yeah, it's so common. Everybody's just so afraid of their bike stalling. And in reality, one of the things that taught me this was using a recluse clutch. When I very first started testing the Recluse, the Revlock, and the Recluse clutch, I was just blown away by how low the bike would go down before it disengaged, and it wouldn't stall. The bike wouldn't stall; it would disengage. I'm like, wow, it actually works out pretty good. So yeah, and when you just actually start trusting the torque, everybody wants to feel how the throttle works when it's held wide open. Nobody really plays with it down at the bottom, and lets the clutch out and really kind of on-offs the throttle, and let the bike slowly start going up a hill and feeling the trusting the torque of the motor and learning where that's at. And it's different on every bike, but most people, they're so afraid of it, they stall it and then they start on and offing the clutch. And then they won't ever let it bog down. And so a lot of times when they're actually getting traction by slipping the clutch, then they lose control of the clutch, then bang, they lose traction and problems happen. So
right. I've definitely never done that.
Yeah.
So Bill Hall had another question that he had emailed last week. It was Jimmy, for an extended 3-day weekend ride covering approximately 250 miles of mountain in the summer, and it's all single track with sufficient water crossings. What would be your bike prep list, and what would you carry with you prior to such a ride? P.S. My bike never has cow poop on it, so I do not need to know how to wash it off in the rivers.
So this guy watched my Tour of Idaho video. I can already tell you this because when I found a river crossing that was deep enough, I laid the bike over and then I cleaned the cow poop off my bike, allegedly. So what would my prep be? Well, my bikes, generally I roll them out of the garage and I give them a quick look over and then I go ride them. Because I usually know when it's time to change the air filter and clean the air filter, change the oil, this kind of stuff. It's on some sort of a schedule that, like I rolled the bike out of the garage and I loaded it on a truck that took it to California, and then I got a ride into Mexico. And then I rode it 1,250 miles, and then I put it on a truck and it's coming back, and I changed the filter. I think I changed the filter one day. I think we rode through some silt beds, but my filter had 2 days on it from riding up in northern Nevada here, and it had 2 days of riding up in northern Nevada, which is 500 or something miles with the oil in it. And I looked at it, and the oil was good, so I didn't change it. When it gets back here, I will change the oil. I just feel like it's time.
Right.
And we were doing 8-hour days, so that's 8. One day wasn't 8 hours, but 5, 4. So, what's 50, 60, 70 hours or something on the oil?
Yeah.
It's fine. You could probably get it tested and it'd be okay. But I don't do any special prep. I just do routine maintenance on my motorcycle, and hopefully it's ready to go. I quickly. It's not like the old days where you have to adjust the chains all the time or do valve adjustments or things like this. You just on certain bikes, I know to check certain nuts and bolts. I'll give a good look. I do a quick look and I make sure things are tight. I make sure the master link clip isn't going to fall off. What do? You put more stickers on your bike?
So what I usually do is just like a run through.
Closer to that thing.
I just do a run through, just make sure everything's tight.
Yeah, a couple nuts and bolts here.
Yep.
Yeah, don't think there's any really special these days. If you and if you did work on your bike, make sure you worked on it properly before you go on a couple day ride, and then you check it. Unlike I knew what I had on the bike. I had the stuff on the bike because I wanted to see if it would fail, and I tested it to failure. And now I know, and I can provide feedback on that thing to whoever I need to provide feedback to, and it was a good test. So, because a lot of times but certain companies really like to have their stuff tested. So we do this. Because of where I was at, I should have said, okay, I can't finish this test here, but I had all the stuff to get it put back together. We were all good.
More Jimmy Riggs stories, or do you have the proper tools?
No, I had pretty much all the proper tools.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, as much proper tools as you can have, carry with you and stuff. But, all the different. We made some stuff work, and it worked. It literally got me right to where it needed to get me to, and then I had my second failure, which was kind of expected based on the way it was put back together, and Then I met my new buddy. Trying to remember his name because I can never remember anybody's name, but I got his number, and we're gonna go surfing sometime.
Nice.
Maybe on the way back up from the next thing.
Yeah.
Any nuts or bolts you guys safety wire? Good question. No, because nobody knows how to safety wire properly, right, Bob? Yeah, you got to go to airplane mechanic school if you want a safety wire. But there was things back in the day that they would do. I mean, people used to do countershaft bolts on bikes that were notorious for having them come off. But these days, stuff's good. I mean, I watch kickstand bolts a little bit, but they can't really be safety wired. KTM has a kind of a high stress kickstand bolt. What else? Yeah, nothing like that. A little Loctite here and there could go a long ways on certain bolts.
What about the like that little I wouldn't call it a wire, more of like a cable that goes on to the rear brake pedal to keep it from like bending?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Oh, the brake snake.
Yeah.
Those are like kind of a double-edged sword, because sometimes that brake snake can get hit by something and cause your brake to, when like a tree, like a sapling or something like that would hit it.
Yeah.
And certain kinds will wrap around it and yank on it and lock, intermittently lock, pull and lock your brake up real quick. So, I have some bikes that have those on them and some that don't, but, again, it's kind of could help, could hurt.
Mm-hmm. Like if you're racing a lot, I could see where you would care about it. But...
And George says, do you safety wire the clips for the brake calipers? Generally, lately, I used to do both of them, and now I've been just doing one because the KTM ones can and will fall out at different times. So on some of my bikes, I've safety wired the brake caliper clips, and then that way they don't go anyplace. Easier to not lose. Victor wants to know if the new Mexican cops are friendly. I didn't have any experience with the new Mexican cops, so which is good to say that they seem to be pretty friendly. Actually, there was way less in the little cities and villages we rode through. There was way less of the guys that were trying to give out fake stopping tickets and speeding tickets and stuff like this than I remember in the past, which is kind of a good thing.
They do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If
You-
they want to pull you over, they pull you over, and then they just want some money usually. And I didn't have to go through any of that, which was really good. Bill O'Neill says my dealer safety wired the shifter bolt on my KTM 125 XC before I took delivery. That is a common one to fall out on the KTMs. Is the shifter bolt on all of them. But I Loctite them, and I do not have any problems. And Rich Barrow says, are you going to talk about 4-stroke valve wear? Should I talk about that? Yeah. on which brand? Which brand do you want me to just like bury right now, Rich? Give me an idea.
Seems like those older Hondas.
Yeah, the
Get
older
some good
Hondas had
wear in
some.
them.
The older Hondas, actually, the older KTM RFS intake valves were. I mean, it took them 200 hours or something, but they wore. There's different ones. So let me know. I'll talk about it. Yamaha heads don't seem to wear that much. I mean, there's certain years. I think every brand has a year or two that they have some interesting stuff. But unless there's a specific reason. Generally, most of the time the valve wear is accelerated by lack of air filter maintenance and or excessive high RPM. We'll call it past peak power revving and over revving in general. So what does Mike Steebles want to know?
Mike Stevens wants to know safety wire on that twist pin that holds the front of a skid plate on a KTM.
I have that on a lot of mine. That's a good one. It's just so that the Zeus fastener on the front, which is a quarter turn fastener on the front, sometimes it can get hit with a rock and spin, and a little bit of safety wire will go a long ways in keeping that thing done. Per my email. What was his email? The one that he sent to you, Matt?
The only email I got from Rich was about a bike for Rooster Endo.
Oh,
which
Oh, he's stacking it up, trying to get.
Here's a good question. Mark Daniels wants to know, Jimmy, do you run a filter skin?
I did not.
No.
No, I have good luck with those. I've used some of the twin air foam ones that go on top, and I've used some of the filter skin proper ones. I think if some of the ones that I actually saw a video or a picture. A guy had one on top of one of those cone shaped filters. What's the
Oh, those little spiky
the
ones.
spiky filters?
Yeah.
I saw a guy put one on top of those and had really good luck with it. But no, I really don't ride in the dust that much. So where it's a big deal. So like I said, I pretty much could have done the whole thing on a single filter, but I changed it one day.
Have you seen
That was
those gasket air filters?
Gasket air filters.
Yeah, there's like it's like a gasket that goes on the air box before you put the air filter on.
Oh, just like a sleeve.
Yeah.
I have them on some of my KTM adventure bikes. I have those because they have air intakes up high and in the front.
Yeah.
And it'll keep the filters clean for a long time. But no, I haven't seen them on. I mean, I've seen on some of the 24-hour bikes that guys build and stuff. A lot of times, or some of the Baja bikes, I saw them putting those things on there just to keep the big stuff from going down. It'll still let the dust in, but it'll knock the. So, what was George wanting to know about Masterlinks? Funnel web filters. That's right, Mark. Thanks for that bringing it up there. And Matt's busy. Were you working on a date over there?
By date, you mean my roommate? Yeah.
Oh, it's male or female?
It's a bro date.
Yeah. Okay. So he wanted to know something. How many Masterlinks do you have to on hand to work on a KTM cam chain? Oh, the spare ones. The little, if you're gonna unrivet the KTM cam chain on an RFS, I think is what he's talking about, because that's the one you do that on. Yeah, I would have a couple, because that's a little bit of an art if you're not good at smashing those things together like you're supposed to. Proper tool, a good cam chain tool makes a lot of difference there too. So I think did you get my one question that I emailed you, Matt, from our marketing? The one was for our marketing department?
Yeah, the $60 product unboxing test.
Right. Okay. Can you aim your screen over me or run that up here? I want to. Yeah. So here's Lily Zing wanted to get a hold of me about. She saw my YouTube video or my Amazon my YouTube video. Hey Logan, listen to this. I was surfing on YouTube and I saw the video you took and it was really great. I have a few new products for you to test and I cordially invite you to join my test. Guess this might be for you. This might be she might have saw you in this thing. Baby Bond retractable baby gate. It's perfect for dirt bike test. I don't know if I should get you on it or Trevor. But it's stylish. It designed to adjust. It works on smooth wood, metal tiling, all this stuff. Look at babies. Okay, next thing. Next thing, yeah. A rechargeable baby nasal aspirator. I'm not sure what you do with this. It looks a little weird, but I'm sure this is, we can do an Amazon review of that. I don't know how you would use that on a dirt bike. Do you have any ideas?
I don't know.
Would you stick it in the muffler? Pull the trigger.
It's like sniffing salts. Maybe the bike will run better.
Right. This one, a wearable baby breast pump. Baby Bond electric breast pump hands. I don't know what this does.
Logan could use that. He's been lactating lately.
Yeah, it's something. Are you interested in my products? Please let me know what you think. Lily? Oh, got to get back to you. I'll have Logan in my marketing department reach out to you, see if we can get those. I don't know how. Why would we be the best ones to test them? What video did she see? Or Amazon CRF 230 pipe test, which actually got a lot of views. When I opened that email up, I thought that it was probably the person from the company that wanted to, work with us.
Right. But then we discovered it's baby products.
Baby products. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for joining in. Victor says my best filter skin is my wife's stockings, preferably unwashed, for good luck. And we wonder why Victor gets kicked off Facebook all the time.
Oh boy.
We got to get Victor on the show one of these times. You got to come out, do some flat track, bring us some tequila. I did not get any good tequila when I was down in Mexico. We saw a $4,000 bottle though.
Oh,
we
wow.
went into some supermercado in Cabo when we were looking for COVID tests, and $4,000 bottle.
Wow.
George, you know a guy?
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you everybody for joining in, and hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you like this, tell a friend. If your friend needs to know about how to set up their suspension, they shouldn't watch this one. They should watch another one. If they want to know about adjusting valves, they should watch another one. What did you learn tonight?
Dirt bikes are fun.
Dirt bikes are fun.
Yep.
I was sitting on the start line of a race, and I was sitting next to a guy named Paul Kraus, and it like the banner's up and it's getting ready to drop, and he goes, Jimmy, dirt bikes are fun. And I was on a 125, and I needed to jump this guy because I had to get, he was on a 500 probably. I needed to jump this guy. And I'm just going, why did you just say this to me? But he was right. Yeah. So I don't know what it was. I think I took a picture of it. The $4,000 bottle of tequila. It was called. I will look. It was not a plastic bottle. It was called.
$4,000. It better not be in a plastic bottle.
It was called Koi AC Louis, the XIII. How many is that? 10 and 13th? Yeah. 7,999 pesos, which is roughly $4,000. It was I don't know. Yeah, Louis the 14th. 13th. Yeah.
So hopefully it's not Louis the 16th, because that didn't end well.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's it. All my classes are sold out unless you're going to the Tour Tech Rally, and about half of those classes are sold out, so you can't join us there.
If you're in Vegas, I have my first Learn to Ride clinic this weekend.
Right? Is that sold out almost?
No, there's spots available.
Spots available? Yeah. Learn to Ride clinic. Somebody says that's cognac. I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to get a COVID test. They were just going to shove something up my nose, and somebody told me it's cognac. So that's not even tequila. It was in the damn tequila section.
Cool.
So, okay, everybody. So it shows I know a lot about tequila. Actually, I heard my 200 tequila plaque is, or whatever I get, is going up at Ramiro's. Probably going to have a big ceremony over there.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good times. I'll let everybody know when that is. You have anything else to promote? You want to say anything? Thank your sponsors?
No sponsors here.
No sponsors? Okay. You don't want to thank Logan
I like to thank Logan.
for getting you on this show?
Get me on the show. And
Logan taking the night off. What a
oh,
slacker.
I got a sponsor. I will say, if you guys are wondering about Jimmy Lewis Riding School, 10 out of 10 do it. I've learned so much from this.
Wow, this is totally unprompted, but thank you very much. Yeah.
Yep.
Too bad I don't have any schools. We're all sold out. But okay, everybody, thanks for joining. Cheers, everybody. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Okay, out on the